Hey y'all, I'm Jordan, and thank you so much for stopping by and watching my video. Thank you so much for you who are coming back and subscribing and liking. I really appreciate the love and the positive feedback I've been getting from you guys. This has been kind of hard, necessarily like I want to air dirty laundry or anything. I want God to be able to use our story and our testimony to help someone else maybe going through the same situation. We've been married for 13 years, like I said. We've been together for 14. At the end of my wedding night, I was crying. I was upset. It was not, my wedding day is not something that I really like to remember, unfortunately. But at the end of the night, my dad said, "We can get this annulled tomorrow. You don't have to do this. You don't have to go home with him. We can get this annulled." And I was like, "Tomorrow's Sunday, Dad." And he's like, "I don't care." And for so long, I felt like we had to stay together just so I could prove everybody wrong. They were all wrong. That we would be fine together because I loved him that much. And he had not been faithful that I knew of. And I forgave him, and we got past it and moved on. And it's just, then 2 years later, just all these secrets and lies that he had been keeping came out. And I'm going to make this really long story short, but he had an affair with a woman he worked with for months while I was pregnant with Jackson. And I talk about my first video how I was really sick and a lot of other stressful things were going on. Well, first, after, I found out the first time, I had a 1-year-old baby and I was pregnant. And so I was like, well, we'll work this out. I'll stay. And then I found out probably about a month later that he didn't end things with her like he said he did. I packed my bags in the baby's bag, and I was so sick, y'all. I was so sick. I could not keep anything down. I had a PICC line. I had IV bag I carried around in a little backpack 24 hours a day, and then I received medication through this IV as well to keep me from being so sick all the time. And just I would be so dehydrated, my whole body would just ache and I just couldn't move. And it was probably one of the worst times in my life. Why am I even doing this? Why am I adding something else to my plate? Why don't I have enough to do, enough to take care of? Why am I doing this? And I came into Blake's room and I just sat on his bed and I had my Bible and radio on, K-Love. And when I came in here and I was just feeling really overwhelmed and upset and just frustrated, and it's been a long weekend and I'm just really need to go to bed probably instead of like having this pity party for myself. But the song that was playing when I walked in his room was Just Say Jesus. It's when you don't know what to do and you don't know what to say, just say Jesus. And it's exactly what I was just crying out to him. I know I've said it before, it's just like weekly. And it's the enemy, he just lies. He just tells me I'm not good enough to do this. No one wants to watch me. I'm not going to reach anybody. This is a waste of my time. Why am I doing this to myself? I could be doing so many other things than making these videos that no one's going to watch. Maybe, not even maybe, I know that my anointment, it must intimidate the devil. Like, it must be that great that it intimidates him, that he has to be attacking me right now through all this. And so even if it doesn't help any person, it's gonna help me. So okay, I don't know why I went into all of that, like affair and stuff. I guess I asked my husband how do we tell people we've been married for 13 years? And he's like, give your wife whatever she wants and don't fight about money. And I just thought, like, that's one thing. We really don't fight about money. He really does. I mean, he's always said as long as the bills are paid, you can get what you want. He doesn't really seem to care. And it's not like I buy stuff for myself much anyways. Most of the stuff's all for the kids, but anyways. So 13 years in, I told him, I said, I would have rather fought about money than some of the things that we've had to fight about. I would have rather fought about money than my husband having an affair. It just shouldn't be like that. That's not what marriage is, and that's not what it's about. And, I guess my point that I'm trying to make, and the point I'm trying to get across to you, is that sometimes the rough stuff is really, really rough, but on the other side of that rough stuff is so beautiful. And he wants, our whole family believes in Romans 8:28, that's usually what we say to each other, like when something doesn't go right. Romans 8:28, he works all things to his glory. Because he can take any situation. He can take, a dying, sick, pregnant woman whose husband cheats on her and turn it into something that is so beautiful and a story that could touch so many people's lives and further his kingdom. I told sometimes my husband, he'll get on the what ifs, and he's like, why did you marry me? Why did you stay with me? You were just a college, you were in college, you had your future ahead of you, and you left it all for me and Blake. Why? And I can't do the whats and whys, because it is really frustrating, especially as a mom now, to do the things that I did, to leave behind my dreams of my college degree and drop out of college, just for the reasons that I did. Years later, I eventually got my degree, but it took me a long time and lots of student loan debt that, my schooling was paid for. Where I went to school, I had a full ride. And I just foolishly wasted that. And it is frustrating, And so that's where this bad situation, I made a bad choice. I was a Christian, but I wasn't the believer or the follower that I am now. I wasn't in his word daily. I did not seek him for guidance. I made decisions, that he probably wouldn't have placed on my heart to make. But I made them anyways. And he knew that I was going to do that, and he still loves me. And that's what just amazes me, because you know how much you love your kids, but they just frustrate you. It's like the little kids right now are just kind of overwhelming, and my husband and I were talking, and he said something, and I said, well, what do you want to do? Just give up on them like everybody else? And he's like, no, not at all. We're not giving up on them. And I was like, okay, making sure we're on the same page, because I'm not giving up on them either. So many people told me that we couldn't take care of them together. It's just not that I want to prove them wrong, but I know that God's called me to do this, to be their mom right now. And he's going to have to give me the strength and the wisdom and the discernment to get through this. He has to. And just, I'm just don't know what to do or say, and I just come in here and say Jesus, and just praying, and I just already just feel a little bit calmer. I have anxiety. Okay, so what I told my husband when he was doing the whys and the what ifs, we can't change any of that. We just have to move forward, and we have to move forward and be different. We know who we are called to be now. Not that we didn't know then, but we chose probably to not listen to that calling, but we know better now, and we know where we're supposed to be. We know what we're supposed to be doing, and we do it to the best of our abilities, and sometimes we fail. I can tell a difference in just me, my level of anxiety, and just how I'm feeling on the inside if I listen to sermons versus like watching cleaning videos. If I just watch a bunch of cleaning videos on YouTube, and just every time I get something out of the sermon, like every sermon I get something out of. And it's always something that I need to hear. Always. I've never listened to a sermon and I was like, that wasn't for me. Because it's just, I can apply almost everything to my life, especially with the chaos and, everything we're going through right now. Anyway, I don't know why I keep doing that. So when my husband was doing the what ifs and the whys, I just tell him, I said, you have to stop. We can't change it. We can't go back. We can't change any of it. What's done is done. But not only our 3 boys wouldn't have their parents together if I would have left, there are 3 other children who wouldn't have us as parents. 3 other children, 3 other lives that have been greatly impacted after the affairs and the lies and the deceiving and just everything that went on, all of that horrible stuff. 3 beautiful little children came to be ours. Those 3 kids wouldn't have us as parents if we wouldn't have stayed together. So, Craig Groeschel, when he talks about it, he always, it's okay to get divorced if there's been adultery. Like, it's a reason to get divorced, like a legitimate reason. But it can also be a reason to stay. No one says you have to leave, and people are going to judge, and they're going to have their opinions and their hateful comments to the, and that's on them. And I'm really working on, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think about this or how, because I know the truth, and I know that I love my husband now probably more than I did when we first got married. He is one of my best friends. We've told a few people, and just not everybody knows. I don't, for the longest time, I didn't want anybody to know, because it's almost like something like I did something wrong that caused this, and it's not my fault at all. And that was something in him that was wrong, not me. And that's taken me 10 years to deal with that struggle, and just that, I wouldn't say 10 years, the last probably 2 years ago, out of the blue one day, he confessed some more things, some more lies and things that I did not know about. And so I really had a hard time then. I was really struggling. It's almost like it just, I don't know, then I started going to therapy or to counseling, and I became more involved in church and just reading my Bible and reading His Word and studying and listening to sermons has just really helped me so much. There are so many different sermons about forgiveness and just the thing that impacted me the most, and I tell people this today still. So many times, I call my mom and I want her to be, on my side, I'm like, yeah, I'm mad at him. Are you mad at him? Can you believe he did this? What about, I'm just, I guess, a husband bashing session, if you will. And I was just, called her and I was just throwing this pity party and boo-hooing. Aren't you mad at him too? What do you think? And she said, Jordan, how can I think that God's grace is good enough for me but not for him? How can you think that God's grace is good enough for you and not for him? How can we, what kind of Christians are we if that's what, and I was like, oh, man. Like, I just wanted her to be like, yes, let's kick his butt, And she just kind of reeled me back into reality, and just still to this day, I say that. It's just, you just gotta have that to kind of like ground each other and have. You scared me. Hi, fat kitty cat. He opened the door up himself and it scared me. Did you see me jump? This is Mickey. What are you doing? Mickey loves Blake and he sleeps with Blake at night. His Blake overfeeds him. So of course he loves to see how huge this cat is. You want to read the Bible? Are you reading the Bible? So when you don't know what to do and you don't know what to say, just say Jesus. Word can get you through anything. Get you anywhere. And so, just all this horrible stuff that's happened in the past, I just love to sit back and just watch, the story unfold. There's times. So I know for sure that there's 3 kids that wouldn't have us as parents if we weren't together. So that's pretty, that has to make it all worth it. It has to, just the impact that we've been able to have, and just the influence in their lives, and we've been able to teach them about Jesus and take them to church and take them to vacation Bible school. Kids in care, it's hard, you don't want to force your religion on them, especially if they have their own, but you want to include them in your life, and what you're doing in church is a big part of our family. Doing that, these kids, they have to go through so much, and I get so frustrated. People, I've talked before, and they ask me, like, are they all your kids? Or, comment about the size of our family. And it's just like, we have a lot of kids, but it's kids. There's not very many people or families that, if they have less amount of kids than us, they're not stepping up. Like, we're hurting for foster parents so bad in this area, and I'm sure most areas are, because it is not something that most normal people would want to do, and it's not even a want to do, it's being called. I fully believe that we have been called to do this. Like, we've stepped up to the plate, and we've done what he's asked us to do, even though it seemed absolutely crazy, and it's been probably one of the hardest things we've ever had to go through. So I hope and pray that this touches someone, and just it helps them in a way that they really need. If there's, like I said, if there's anyone watching that needs someone to pray with, or someone to pray for them, or just someone to talk to, you're not alone. If you're watching this, it's probably because you searched it, and it's probably, you feel like it's the worst time in your life, and you don't know how you're going to be able to get through the next day, and you don't know how you're going to breathe. When you don't know what to do, just say Jesus, because there is power in his name. Yeah. So, dear Heavenly Father, I just ask right now that you just touch whoever's watching, Lord. Just touch them, touch their hearts, let them feel your love and your presence, Lord. And just, if there is someone who is hurting and going through pain, just Help them to know that they can make it through it. They can survive. You have a beautiful and a perfect plan on the other side of this, and if they could just get through it one day at a time, that they will be able to enjoy your perfect plan on the other side. I just ask, Lord, that you help them feel loved and feel special, and just the rejection and the hurt that they're feeling right now. You just take that away, and you just fill it with your love and your peace that passes all understanding, a peace that no one, no thing, nothing can replace and nothing can fill. It can only come from you. Thank you so much for all that I have, and thank you for my husband. Thank you for everything that we've been through, whether it's been good or bad. And thank you for all of our children. In your precious name I pray. Amen. So that's all for today. Not exactly what I had in mind. Not at all what I had in mind or what I wanted to do, but God had another plan. So I'm listening to him, and I'm going to do what he's asked me to do. So, yeah. Thank you so much for staying till the end if you're still here. I hope you guys have a blessed day. And jfuller0030@gmail.com. I'll try to remember to link it down below. That is my email. You email me, or you message me if you need prayer. If you just want to reach out to someone and say, oh, I'm going through this. How do I get through it? Sometimes it's just nice to talk to a person that survived things that you're going through, so you can see it's not the end. As much as it feels like it's the end, it's not. It's not. Jeremiah 29:11 is one of my favorite verses, and it says, "For I know the plans that I have for you, plans to give you hope and a future, plans to prosper you and not to harm you." The plans he has for us are good. They're good. He doesn't promise that it's going to be easy and that there aren't going to be tough, difficult moments. But the ultimate plan is good. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.